Hey gang, welcome to Austin Dental Spa on this nice cold last day of November. It's Wisdom Wednesday, so it must be Wednesday, and I'm Mark Sweeney, owner of Austin Dental Spa, and we do this every Wednesday. If you're tuning in for the first time, here's how it goes. We usually do a little bit of scientific stuff, things of interest, usually orally, but sometimes whole body health. And then I give a health tip at the end of the talk that hopefully will be helpful for you. We have a theme every month, and this month's theme was Turn Over a New Leaf in November. So we spent the whole month going through different themes about how you can turn over a new leaf. And today is no different, but before I get in, we actually are going to give a two-for Wednesday and do two different short topics that both would be really good for turning over a new leaf. But before we get to that, as you've noticed, the facial hair has really grown out this month. Every November I do this in honor of a good dentist friend of mine who died about 15 years ago of undiagnosed prostate cancer out in California. And so multiple ones of us picked up on an Australian theme. These Australian guys about 20 plus years ago had a friend that died of prostate cancer, and over there they call mustaches mows down under, and so they said grow a mo for a bro, and that kind of has gone all the way around the world, and it's become more like mustache November, Movember, all kinds of different things. I'd rather just grow full facial hair than just a mustache. So because once you get the razor out, it's hard to stop. So anyway, this is the last time you'll see me. It comes off tomorrow morning, and I've got another little adornment here also that came up last Friday night. My 3-year-old pit bull was so excited that I had people over visiting that he was doing zoomies in the hallway, and I'm losing my voice on top of that, and I'm the speaker. So hold on a second. Thank you, camera woman. So anyway, my dog was doing zoomies in the hallway, and on about the third lap, neglected to remember that I'm standing in the hallway. 42-pounder at full speed took my legs out from underneath me. I've still got a big shin on bruise on my shin and my head. He flipped me right over, and I hit the carpet. So I've got a nice big bruise. It was about twice that size over the weekend, so it is getting better. But anyway, so that's me. Next week, I promise I'll look a little better. So thanks for supporting everybody that grew a beard this month for Men's Prostate Awareness. It also has grown to be about just men's health issues in general, suicide prevention, prostate cancer, men's issues in general. So next November, I'll do it again. And so now we're going to get into our scientific stuff. I found two different studies. One of them was from the University of Tufts University Dental School up in Boston. The dental school there did some studies on vaping. They found, 13,000 patients who were treated at Tufts Dental Clinic from 2019, before the pandemic, until just this year, 2022. So they studied 13,000 patients, adults and children, and they found that then they cut it off at 17 years old, 17 and up, and they studied people that were vaping. Now, vaping has become a real popular thing because the vaping industry is trying to promote that vaping is much healthier than smoking cigarettes. And there's all kinds of studies trying to prove it one way or the other. I'm sure the tobacco industry is involved in this, but right now, statistics from the CDC are that 9.1 million adults and 2 million teenagers in the United States are active vapors right now. Now, vaping, if you're not familiar with it, it doesn't involve lighting anything. It's a mechanical cigarette, basically, that has a chamber in it that has a liquid in it, sometimes water, but now they've progressed to where they've got all these different flavors that you can buy at the vaping stores. And when you inhale, that vapor gets turned into a mist. And so you inhale that into your lungs. And their thought was, and there's tobacco involved in it too. So tobacco smokers have tried to convince me over the years that vaping is healthier for you because it's got water or some kind of liquid mixed in. But the Tufts people found out that especially the flavored oils or whatever they are, liquids that are in there, they have some kind of sweetener in them, usually sugar, and that sweetener mixed with the vapor that goes into your mouth creates a sticky film on the outside of your teeth. This is all brand new stuff from 2022, and they found that people that vaped were 79% more likely to get decay because of that sticky stuff built up, plus the drying out effect that it has as you exhale that vapor, just like cigarette smoking. We're not even going to talk about the potential damage to the lungs. They were just specifically talking about how it affects oral health. There's been some more recent studies, not this one from Tufts, that say that vaping has the same preponderance towards precancerous lesions in the mouth as smoking does because of that heating up and drying out of the mouth. So if you're a vapor, you want to be careful about that. They're claiming that people that vape need to come to the dentist every 3 to 4 months rather than twice a year. So you want to let your dentist know if you're vaping regularly and go to the dentist more often. So the next trend is equally as popular among the young crowd: tongue and lip piercing. This study was done in Germany just this year, 2022. They actually at a university of medicine in Greifswald, Germany, they found that they did a study of studies. So they did like 8 different studies that studied body piercings, and then they looked at it from an oral standpoint, and they found that people who had piercings in their lips that were near teeth or on their tongues, anywhere in the oral environment, had a much higher incidence of gum disease in the areas near the piercings. They found some people that had piercings on one side of their face and not the other, and the side of the face with the piercings was not as healthy as the side that did not have piercings. They didn't draw a whole lot of conclusions about whether it was the metal in those piercings or whether it was a friction against them, but that's some interesting studies. So if you've got piercings, of course, the authors were dentists, and they just said, hey, if you've got piercings, take them out. Well, I'm in Austin, Texas. That doesn't quite work. People think that they look cool with them. So if you're going to have a piercing on your tongue or your oral area, you want to get it checked every time you go to the dentist and make sure that it's a healthy environment there. So I have plenty of patients that have piercings all around their oral area, and they're doing just fine. I've also had a few of them chip teeth because the ball bearing that they had running through their tongue like a little dumbbell, the one that screws on that's usually under the tongue, came loose while they were eating, and they didn't realize it till they bit down into it and cracked a tooth. So had another young woman who the ring on the edge of her tongue was rubbing on the gum tissue on the inside of her lower front teeth, and it wore the gum tissue away. And she was only in her early 20s. So out came that ring. And she had to have gum tissue surgery to correct it. So anyway, something to know about. 2 things to be careful of. If you're in one of those categories, it might be a chance to turn over a new leaf. Next month, or next week, we'll introduce the theme for December, and my health tip for the week. You know what happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas, all the Christmas parties. At all the Christmas parties, there's at least one table that has nothing but sweets, desserts. I like that table. But if you're trying to stay healthy, as we all know, sweets, especially sustained over a long period in the evening, raise the pH in your mouth because the bacteria that hang around your teeth and gums love that sugar. They can break it down in a matter of 10 minutes into a highly acidic substance against your teeth. So if you're going to hang out over the sweets table, or if you're a drive-by shooter and you just pick up a gumball and pop it in your mouth or something, after the sweet, find the cheese table, because most of those parties, they have a cheese table too. And I particularly like the sharp cheddar cheese, the yellow stuff, really hard on the outside, usually in cubes. Take that and bite it, kind of distribute it around in your mouth. Cheese has been proven. It's not the same as brushing your teeth, but you don't want to brush your teeth at a holiday party out in front of everybody, or even in their bathroom. It's kind of weird. So take the cheese, bite down into it, pick up another piece, put it on the other side, bite down into it. The friction of that cheese, especially those sharp cheddars, actually slides down the side of the tooth and can knock the plaque off. The other thing cheese does is increase salivary production, and the saliva dilutes the acidity in your mouth caused by the sugar that you just ate. Now, you still get the same taste of the sugar while you're eating it, and then eat the cheese to kind of clean the teeth off a little bit so the sugar won't damage you quite as much. So that's my tip for getting through the holidays as healthy as possible. See you next week for another version of Wisdom Wednesday.